Ilina mai inawakamaka, mai Hawaii Kauai, mai Molokai Maui, aloha mai kako, ha'ole la honua. Welcome all friends of Mother Earth and its inhabitants on this 50th anniversary of the Earth Day celebrations. Our air and water quality have improved dramatically in many parts of the world since 1970, but now life on Earth is facing the existential challenge of climate change. My name is Rob Weltman. I'm with Sierra Club Maui Group, but I'm talking to you today about ReTree Hawaii, a very broad coalition of organizations and individuals to plant trees all across the state later this year. We have an exciting 1-hour show ahead of us. After a presentation on how and why we are planning to ReTree Hawaii, we'll hear the exceptionally talented young singer-songwriter Anthony Fluke perform for us, and then share thoughts on how we can all pull together to restore our natural habitat and help Hawaii resist the climate crisis. First up, a little presentation here. This may be a strange question for this particular audience, but I think it still needs to be asked. What does tree planting have to do with the topics of the day? Climate crisis, climate resilience, Earth Day? Instead of me answering, let's hear what Greta Thunberg and George Monbiot have to say.
This is not a drill. My name is Greta Thunberg. We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protests. But we can still fix this. You can still fix this. To survive, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air, costs very little, and builds itself. It's called a tree. A tree is an example of a natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat bogs, jungles, marshes, seabeds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away. Nature is a tool we can use to repair our broken climate. These natural climate solutions could make a massive difference.
Pretty cool, right?
But only if we also leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Here's the crazy part. Right now, we are ignoring them. We spend 1,000 times more on global fossil fuel subsidies than on natural-based solutions.
Natural climate solutions get just 2% of all the money used on tackling climate breakdown.
This is your money. It is your taxes and your savings.
Even more crazy, right now when we need nature the most, we're destroying it faster than ever.
Up to 200 species are going extinct every single day.
Much of the Arctic ice is gone. Most of our wild animals have gone. Much of our soil has gone.
So what should we do?
What should you do?
It's simple. We need to protect, restore, and fund. Protect. Tropical forests are being cut down at the rate of 30 football pitches a minute.
Where nature is doing something vital, we must protect it.
Restore. Much of our planet has been damaged.
But nature can regenerate, and we can help ecosystems bounce back.
Fund.
We need to stop funding things that destroy nature and pay for things that help it.
It is that simple. Protect, restore, fund.
This can happen everywhere. Many people have already begun using natural climate solutions. We need to do it on a massive scale.
You can be part of this.
Vote for people who defend nature.
Share this video. Talk about this.
All around the world, there are amazing movements fighting for nature. Join them.
Everything counts. What you do counts.
course, we agree with Greta and George that just planting trees is not going to cut it. We have to stop taking coal, oil, and gas out of the ground. We have to stop burning fossil fuels. We have to shift our transportation, both air, land, and by sea, to green, renewable technologies that are carbon neutral. We have to refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, so we reduce the burden we're putting on the planet. But the point is, everyone can do something. Not everyone can do everything. And planting trees is something that everyone can contribute to. So what is the Ho'olu Paimoku, ReTree Hawaii? It's a campaign that has two sides, educational and practical. On the educational side, we hope to reach everyone in Hawaii with information about the climate crisis, what causes it, what must be done to stop it, and to deal with it. On the practical side, we intend to get a huge number of trees and other plants into the ground on October 30th, 2020, with hundreds of organizations and thousands of volunteers. The campaign will inspire work already being done and also new projects to address climate change and plan for adaptation where the changes can't be stopped. And finally, we think that working together across the islands will bring together individuals and organizations that will find new ways to collaborate in fighting the climate crisis. This is not primarily a demonstration project. We want the plants to survive. That means focusing on sites with experience maintaining plants and with appropriate infrastructure. What plants are okay? We have a preference for native Hawaiian plants to help bring back the native Hawaiian insects and other animals and expand the basis for Hawaiian cultural activities. But we know that food production is also important, that many sites already have landscapes to expand rather than replace entirely. Trees are great because of their capacity to absorb CO2, the deep roots that bind the soil, and their longevity, but many other plants, including limu, can pull significant quantities from the atmosphere. The bottom line here is that each site decides what and how many are to be planted. There are so many places around the islands that would benefit from more trees or other plants. We have the conservation organizations that are already collectively planting tens or hundreds of thousands of native plants every year, but could use some extra hands. There are open space areas acquired by the counties or the state but left unattended and in need of care. Many schools and resorts want to participate. Someone who has planted at home can also report the plants and upload pictures to count towards the goals. Because everyone is constrained to home right now, we have opened up this part, effective immediately. The October 30th date was chosen carefully for the event, aligning with the wetter season and with the Hawaiian calendar's guidance for planting. We think that planting simultaneously across all the islands will make the event impossible to ignore for TV, radio, and newspapers, and also maybe result in a little peer pressure to get more sites, organizations, and individuals involved. Our website, retree-hawaii.org, is the entry point for all information and activities around the campaign. There's a section for donations, an FAQ, and more. The homepage lists up front some of the many benefits of trees. Further down on the page is a list of all the organizations supporting the campaign, along with their logos. This is a very old snapshot, so since then there are many more organizations and many more logos, and of course we welcome even more. On entering the activities section of the website, there are different areas for the three main categories of participants: owners or managers of sites where planting will happen, volunteers to plant at those sites, and individuals or families planting at home. It is up to the owner or manager of each site to decide how many volunteers can be accepted on October 30th, and how many plants and of what types to put in the ground. There are a couple of ways for volunteers to find a site to volunteer at. One of them is to browse a list where you can see the description, the location, the number of volunteers accepted, the number of volunteers already signed up, etc. You can also see all the registered sites on a map, and of course this can be scrolled to different parts of Hawaii, and there's a drop-down list to select which island to focus in on. We're hoping to have many teams sign up from companies, government agencies, and schools, in addition to individuals. So who will pay for all these plants? We think that conservation organizations, state and county agencies, and also resorts, they have their own guidelines for what to plant, and they have money and often their own nurseries for growing those plants. But we will help others, especially schools, to acquire plants. You can upload the names and pictures of your plants that you planted at home with a smartphone or with your computer. If you would like to plant native plants at home but don't know which ones to choose, we have a guide based on which zone of the island you live in, along with pictures as well as some expert advice from university websites. A map shows the locations of home planting as well as pictures uploaded by the individual home planters.
Trees, 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 have roots and trunks and leaves. Trees, 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 have buds and fruits and seeds. Trees, 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 a home for birds and bees. We all need our trees, trees, trees.
Hope that was interesting, woke you up a little bit. The next segment of our live session here today is with singer-songwriter Anthony Fluke from my hometown, Kihei. And many of you may have seen him at some events, but hopefully for many of you this is the first time, and you will like it so much that you'll arrange to have him play at an event near you. Anthony is coming to us live today from his backyard in Kihei. Aloha.
Yep. I got my mom holding the camera. Mahalo nui, and I appreciate being a part of this. The first song is called Kaulana o Haleakala, an original song for a beautiful mountain. Yeah, mahalo. Original music for a beautiful mountain. It's we're blessed by all the time. And what's great about this whole COVID-19 thing is that the earth can rest, the earth can live, and seeing places that are usually just overrun by tourism and people and sunscreen, like Waikiki is looking so beautiful, and San Francisco, Auckland, New Zealand, and seeing all these pictures all around the world of places just living and breathing really is inspiring to me. And so here's some Hawaiian music called Hi'i Lave, a song about a beautiful twin waterfall in the Waipio Valley of Hawaii Island. A lot of Hawaiian music is about places and things of nature. I always have double entendres of different meanings of human life. Some music called Hi'i Lave, made famous by Uncle Gabi Pahino. Kumakakai kuna ika, kapalo himea makere. Makere mea ikumima, malai ni ole no eloa iwea ikubari. Hira hira nakamaku elia ika. Inahi amai anakapua kumakakai na ila yahi ila yahi ila. Play some ukulele. If there's any requests, feel free to drop them in the Facebook live. Yeah. Here's some more Hawaiian music called Kavika. It was originally an ancient chant. So it's music by the Ka'au Creator Boys. And to honor the last king of Hawaii, King Kavika Kalakau. Original music. Wrote this song when I was, I think, 15, a while ago. Called "Singing to the World." I don't play this much, and I might forget the words, but I want to give it a go because it's Earth Day, or yesterday, Earth Day. But still celebrating. Every day is Earth Day. It's the title track of my latest album. You can find it at mauianthony.com if you're interested. And that's music called "Singing to the World." Original song. See the world, see the world, see the world that's small. See the trees soft. The world is not as it seems anymore. Sing it to the world.
and sweet. I see all of life's creations sitting here in front of me. I know I was made to be. Singing to the world, the world is singing back to me. The world is alive, the world can open up its eyes, see where we are and why we be. Only the world knows the answer to life's persistent question. See the world see. Sing it to the world is singing back to me. Another one of my passions is our canoe paddling. Not able to do it as a group right now, but I'm hoping to get on my one man soon. And some original music called Let Your Love Grow. Love and positivity everywhere I go. No matter where you go, you reap what you sow. Be one with the ocean, go with the flow. Feel the earth's vibration. Let your love grow. Let your love grow. Let your love grow. Too many of our children crying for reasons that they can't control. Too many of our people dying before their lives can unfold. We only got one life, as far as we know. The gun should decide the ending note. We got to be the change we are seeking. Gotta love with the positivity everywhere we go. No matter where you roam, you reap what you sow. Be one with the ocean, go with the flow. Feel the earth's vibration. Let your love grow. Let your love grow. Let your love grow. For the color of skin, or race, sex, religion, love is not a sin. Hold on to what is true in your heart. Feel the righteousness in your soul. Spread love and positivity everywhere you go. No matter where you roam, you reap what you sow. Be one with the ocean, go with the flow. Feel the earth's vibration. Let your love grow. Let your love grow. Let your love grow. Malama ikahi ikahi, malama puno ikamele aina. Aloha Yahweh, aloha Yahweh, aloha pumeho. Let your love grow.
Joining us, I'd like to share with you one more song called Kule Aloha, an original song for the Lei of Aloha for World Peace, which organization that has woven tea leaf lei from many different events in the past, some tragedies and joys and accomplishments of Hawaiian culture. But this is a song I wrote for the Lei of Aloha for World Peace. It's a song I wrote in dedication of Aloha. In the Hawaiian thinking of Pono, talks about Aina, Akua, and Kanaka. So the land, the people, and the heavens all living in balance in Pono. So this is not only a song of aloha, but also a song of Malama Aina. And Kule Aloha. Aloha, Kule, Kuleana, open land. Look at this world. Is this the place we want? Our boys and girls. Look to the heart. Look to the sky. Say, how can I make this place a better one for you? Protect our land, protect our children. Give them a hand. Protect our ocean, protect our sand, protect our mountains. Why can't we all just understand? This our we only have one chance, no turning back. You know we can do better to protect our future, protect our land, teach our children to lend a helping hand, protect our ocean, protect our sand, protect our mountains. Why can't we all just understand? Kule, oh, kule, kule, ule honua. Mahalo nui. Thank you so much. Coming to you from Kihei. My name is Anthony Fluke. Mahalo to ReTree Hawaii for having me as part of the event today. And happy Earth Day. Haolila honua kako.
Thank you, Anthony. Wasn't that wonderful? What a way to celebrate Earth Day. So I have with me today now, we have Anthony is joining us for a little discussion about Earth Day and planting trees and other things. And I also have Andy Fox, who has been planting trees all over the island and probably many other islands too, active in Friends of Haleakala National Park. And we have Ananda Stone, who is active in Common Ground Collective. And Common Ground Collective, she'll be explaining a little bit more about this, has been helping our island not only plant, but also make use of what we plant. And actually, that is my first question, Ananda. How does Common Ground Collective help planting happen on Maui, and why?
Oh, well, it's really all about food security, self-sufficiency, and island resilience. And what we do is we empower the community with the knowledge that they can be part of the food system, and they can feed themselves, they can feed their neighbors, and we provide the support that they need to be successful and thrive. I'm sure, I know food security is an issue all over the world, but here in Hawaii, it's especially worrisome because we're approximately 2,000 miles from any other landmass. And so we're in a situation where if the barge doesn't come with our food, we'll be out in maybe 2.5 weeks. It's estimated like 85 to 90% of our food comes from overseas. So we want to get our island more self-sustaining, encourage our families to grow food and feed themselves. So one of the programs that we do is we do a harvesting program where we for free go onto people's land and harvest their avocado trees. Right now are in season, citrus trees are in season, mangoes are kind of just starting to go into season. And if you have a avocado tree, which you do back there, you kind of understand like you have so much abundance all at once, and it's hard sometimes to use it all. So what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll do the harvesting. You can either get it out to market for you where you can profit from it a little bit, kind of offset some of the costs and feed your family as well. And then, or you can give it to a charitable organization. So we work with a lot of them on the island, like the Chili's on Wheels and the food bank. And recently with the coronavirus, it's especially been needed because so many people are out of work and they're needing to be fed. So we're doing extra harvests to take down to the grocery store where they're giving it out to the school kids. So that's just one of the programs that we do, but it's what we've done so far this year is collected 7,000-ish pounds of food that might have rot on the ground. So we're also taking care of that food waste. So we're just we're teaching people about that. You can actually utilize your property. You can grow a garden instead of a lawn. And this is something, we have a year-round growing season. So it's really a beautiful place to grow food. And so we're also connecting with a lot of other organizations that kind of do the same types of work. So we can do on the distributor end with the CSAs, with the food hubs, and then doing installation for people's gardens. So we're just encouraging all of that and showing people how supporting and empowering our community to do their, plant their own food. And I think we're really going to need it. On Maui alone, it's 19% of the children are food insecure. So just knowing these kind of statistics, it's like really smart to kind of go that direction. The other benefit too, of course, is our global footprint. A lot of people come to Hawaii, and if our food is shipped here, that makes a huge footprint. And economic wise, our tourism has just come to almost a complete halt. We're kind of learning and growing very quickly right now to get caught up so that we can take care of our island economically as well. So does that answer the question? Okay. So Anthony, that was so beautiful what you did, all that music. I don't understand all the words, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about like what you're singing about for all of those viewers back home maybe don't know.
Yeah.
About plants and the island.
Yeah. So I guess I said a lot. There's a lot of like songs about flowers and a lot of nature songs. They always have a different meaning. But the one called the one I started with, Kaulano Haleakala, honors our beautiful mountain, and it's just seeing into like the crater, into seeing these places has given this real deep meaning of it, of like the crater as being this like wrinkles over time that is teaching us, and it's our decision to decide where we're going, where are we going to go. We have these gifts, we have these resources, and we should use them wisely. And so that's kind of what that song says. Ku'ule Aloha, which is the song that I finished with, the chorus is about everything as being as symbolizing as a lei of aloha. Ku'ule kuleana is lei of kuleana is a Hawaiian word for responsibility, but an understanding that we all have something to offer and to provide, and so that's lei of responsibility. Ku'ule na keikioka aina, the lei of the children of the land. So all of us as people here living off the land throughout the world, that we're all connected. Ku'ule na mea nui is the greater lei, what I believe, what surrounds us that we don't see. And I finished the song with Ku'ule Honua, the lei of the world. So in Hawaiian thinking, lei are really sacred, and different types of lei symbolize different things. So those are that was my thinking for writing that song. I appreciate the question. Mahalo. Gee.
Very, very cool. So Andy, on this island where you could be lying on the beach watching the waves, or sitting at Martin Charlie's drinking a beer, almost every day, almost every weekend that you're free, you're out someplace remote, working hard, sweating, planting trees. Why do you do that?
Unfortunately, Hawaii has the somewhat dubious distinction of being the extinction capital of the United States. Being so remote and being such a fragile land, it's taken a lot of abuse, between grazing and agriculture and deforestation, and then the introduction of invasive plants and animals. There's only about 3% of the native forest still left. So, the different organizations that go try and address this, there's a lot of them. They each bring their own kind of perspective on it. So like one of the main ones is to try and help restore the watersheds and reduce erosion. So the watershed partnerships are focused on that. The Maui Nui Marine Resource Council is worried about the reefs and the ocean water, and Coral Reef Alliance, of course, wants the reefs to do well. And then there's the perspective from the native plants and animals. They need their habitat in order to recover and persist, even if it's just barely. So like Maui Forest Bird Recovery Project, they've been working really hard to try and establish some new habitat for the kawikiu. The Maui Nui Seabird Recovery Project is trying to, boost the numbers of the Oahu, and Haleakala, also is trying to help the Nenes and the Oahus that are the cliff dwelling ones. And then Oahe is a big one, trying to, establish links of native ecosystem that can still, recover and expand. So with all those experts, you can't help but learn something when you go on the trips, and I have a lot to learn. So I try and go on a lot of trips. Plus, the people that go on these trips are fantastic. Every single person that volunteers on one of these brings their own perspective and their own strengths and observations, and it's just great fun networking with everybody. And of course, maybe the biggest reason is just selfish, because it's so wonderful to be out there and get to do things and get your hands dirty and heal yourself, restore yourself, and just have a good time with good people. Hopefully, when the social distancing relaxes, then we get back to all of that, and I'm looking forward to it. So the one I didn't mention was Sierra Club. What's the Sierra Club's focus on planting trees?
Well, today, of course, we're all worried about the climate crisis, and we see the effects all around us of rising sea levels. And what can we do beyond the obvious things, which are replace our fossil fuel use with renewable energy? But we also need to look at trees. But I have to say that Sierra Club has always been a tree-friendly organization. The Sierra Club will be 128 years old in May, and Sierra Club in Hawaii has been around for over 50 years. So Sierra Club was founded by John Muir in California, and I just wanted to read a few very short quotes from John Muir just to give a sense of what I'm talking about here. Keep close to nature's heart and break clear away once in a while and climb a mountain or spend a week in the woods. Wash your spirit clean. There's a love of wild nature in everybody, an ancient mother love ever showing itself, whether recognized or no, and however covered by cares and duties. Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves. The wrongs done to trees, wrongs of every sort, are done in the darkness of ignorance and unbelief. For when the light comes, the heart of the people is always right. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's the heritage of Sierra Club, and of course it fits right in my opinion, with Aloha Aina and Malama Aina, and understanding that if we kill the forest, burn down the forest, destroy the ocean, we're destroying the essence of what we need to live and survive as human beings too. And today we need to think about increasing the amount of energy we put into restoring the natural environment, so that in the future we can all have a healthy life and not be forced to evacuate Hawaii because all the Hawaii is underwater, which is not inconceivable given the way sea level is rising. Anthony, I was just wondering, I know that last time I was trying to reach you for a concert, you're on your way to Japan.
Oh yeah, apologize. Yeah, I was supposed to be going to Japan next month, but of course that's canceled as well. But yeah.
But I've been very curious ever since then. How do people receive your music in such a different environment? Do they understand what you're talking about?
Oh yeah, thank you. That's a cool question. It was my first time going in September, and it was really cool. It was a really everyone is just so kind and caring, and it's a society where you have as many people. It's very dense cities and tons of people, but it's not like American cities where it's dirty and you have homeless people. It's like really clean, and everyone is really just respectful and also really caring about what they do. All the sound men I worked with and women I worked with that were just really really on it, and the best sound I've ever heard coming out of the speaker. So it was amazing. They were really receptive to the Hawaiian music. There's more hula halal there than there are here, and there's more, there's millions of people there that love Hawaiian music and Hawaiian culture, and so that's a really beautiful thing to be able to share that to them, where we don't necessarily speak the same language, but they can feel that music. There was a couple English songs I did where I saw it wasn't as receptive, you know. So definitely it's like all Hawaiian music, and that's my favorite thing to play anyway, and that's what I started playing. So I hope to go back there, and yeah, to really miss it all right now. But really thankful for this opportunity for the world and the earth to live and revive. So anyway, thank you. Thanks for the question.
So Andy, what's your, you mentioned a number of places they're doing really good work for restoration, and slightly different purposes, but they all kind of fit together in a way, and they all kind of revolve around that native plant restoration. What's your favorite place on Maui to go planting?
Well, probably in the crater, up in Haleakala is my favorite. We're not just planting when we're out there. Well, most of what the work is up there is removing invasive weeds and bull thistle and telegraph plant and things like that. But every once in a while we get to do seed collections and planting up there, which is it's always excellent to be out there. It's such a magical place. It really is the realm of the gods up there, and we get the privilege to go visit sometimes. So it's amazing to be up there. And again, the people are terrific. So that's probably my favorite.
Very cool. I just wanted to mention too, you mentioned Oahe and the work they did with establishing basically oases of native forest in the middle of barren weeds and invasive grasses. And it is really amazing that you can see it from space, from Google Earth. You can see what's changed, how they've restored. And a couple of recent postings on Facebook by Art Medeiros I thought were especially interesting. One is that for the first time in maybe a couple hundred years, some of these native plants are reseeding themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they've gotten to the point where, and that's the amazing thing, is that it's not a matter of just like we have to plant native plants and we have to keep planting forever, and if we don't stop, if one day we stop doing it, they'll all die and we'll have lost everything. What they're doing is actually changing the ground. They're changing the environment so that these plants become self-sustaining, not only in Oahe, but other places too. But anyway, he said that we've gotten to the point where some of these plants are actually now creating keiki, not just seeds and flowers, but actually producing new plants. That's a wonderful thing. The other one that I thought was interesting too is that the initial focus, of course, there was on planting trees. But once you've been started planting trees, you realize that trees can't survive on their own, and they don't. Plants form part of an ecosystem with understory, low plants and shrubs, and Oahe has been doing a combination of planting not only trees but also shrubs, getting rid of the invasives, planting some more or less ground cover, low growing things, and that all works together. So when we say we are going in for tree planting, it doesn't mean we don't like plants other than trees. That'd be crazy. You can't like trees without liking other plants. But trees are kind of special because they can last for hundreds of years and just keep going. And then they grow these deep roots, so they become solid. You don't have to worry about them, at least not as much as with smaller plants dying away in a drought. So ReTree Hawaii is really about planting all kinds of things, but with a focus on trees. And then
and fruit trees.
Trees included. Yes.
Fruit trees.
Yes. So we have, you probably saw in the presentation that we have a guide now for what kind of native plants work best in different parts of the island. We don't yet have a guide for what kind of fruit trees or non-native plants work best, but we'll work on that. We'll have that very soon. And so you'll be able to go to our site and get some ideas for whatever suits you, whatever you have room for, whatever your yard looks like, whatever you like to eat. How about 1, 2, 3, Happy Earth Day. 1, 2, 3.
Happy Earth Day!
Aloha.
Happy Earth Day!
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha from Maui.